I didn't react when she screamed in the courtroom. "He's just a homeless veteran." Her voice echoed through the chamber, shrill, desperate, bouncing off polished marble walls like a siren of guilt. I didn't blink. I simply sat there, hands calmly folded, one single sheet of paper in front of me. The judge gave a slight arch of his brow, his curiosity piqued. I nudged the paper toward him. He picked it up, scanned the contents, and then something in his jaw tightened. His next words split the air with surgical precision. "Seal the courtroom. Nobody leaves." The bailiff moved before the sound had even settled. That was the moment her father turned away in silent retreat. Her mother began to tremble, visibly unraveling. And Lily, my ex-wife, stood frozen, like an animal caught in a snare. Right where I wanted her. 5 years earlier, I would have gone to hell and back for her. We met not long after I'd returned from my final tour. I was angry, raw, bitter at the world that chewed up soldiers and spat them out. She was warmth incarnate, the kind of person who could touch a broken soul and convince it healing was still possible. We married quickly. Too quickly. Her parents hated it. Old money, old names. They called me damaged goods. But Lily insisted love didn't care for pedigree. And I believed her. I built a world for us. Started a security firm from scratch. Gained clients, built contracts, earned quiet success. I thought what we had was real. That loyalty meant something. Until the night I walked into my office at 2 a.m. She was there. On my desk. With him. Her father's junior partner. The same smug man who used to call me sir at holiday dinners. They were so wrapped up in each other, they didn't even notice me. I didn't shout. I didn't break anything. I just walked away unnoticed into the dark. And somewhere in that silence, something inside me changed. Not rage, not grief, something colder. A sharp, steel thread that ran right through me. And I began to lay out my plan. People underestimate the man who says little. They mistake quiet for weakness. Over the next year, I gave them the show they wanted. Played the gracious loser. Filed for divorce without protest. Let her have the house, the car, everything. She left the courtroom smiling, thinking she'd won. But I wasn't beaten. I was disappearing. I pulled back from my company, installed a proxy, funneled assets overseas, made it look like I was broke. She bragged to her circle about how she drained me dry. But I wasn't dry. I was patient. I watched her lover spiral into debt. I saw her father come under the radar of a quiet federal investigation. The kind that waits. I started pulling strings, collecting threads, bank statements, digital trails, photos. I followed every hidden move until I held the truth wrapped in a net they didn't know existed. And then came the day she hauled me back to court, demanding alimony. She cried on the stand, claimed she gave me the best years of her life, said I abandoned her for a street vagrant. She didn't realize the homeless man I'd supposedly turned to was seated at the back of the courtroom, silent, forgotten. He wasn't homeless. He was my old commanding officer. The man who taught me how to read not just maps, but people. He'd shadowed Lily and her family for nearly 2 years, collecting every detail. All the while, they never once suspected. And then she crossed the final line. Her arrogance handed me the last puzzle piece. That's what was in the document I slid to the judge. A full affidavit, complete with bank trails, emails, transfers, every detail connecting her father's firm to laundered money hidden offshore. And there, clear as day, was her signature on the authorizations. All tied to an illegal land grab scheme targeting properties owned by veterans' families. The judge didn't shout the second time. "Lock the doors," he said again, his voice lower, colder. The courtroom erupted. Murmurs, scraping chairs, nervous glances. My lawyer didn't flinch. He'd known it was coming. Her father mumbled something under his breath and turned away. Her mother looked like she might faint. And Lily finally turned her eyes to me. For the first time in half a decade, she really looked. There was no hatred there now. Just the awful, creeping realization that the man she had betrayed hadn't disappeared. He'd been watching. Preparing. Waiting. Everything fell apart with brutal precision. The judge called a recess and disappeared into his chambers. Federal agents were already waiting outside. I'd made sure of that. Her father's firm collapsed in under a week. The junior partner was taken into custody on racketeering charges. Her mother checked into some posh clinic for stress-related illness. And Lily? She cried, begged, claimed she had no idea. But federal judges don't like to discover they've been bribed by someone standing on a pile of evidence, and certainly not when that someone's name appears on half the documents. She got 5 years. No parole. I visited her once, sat across from her behind glass. Her face was bare, stripped of its usual polish. Her voice barely audible. Why, she asked. Why destroy me? I leaned in just enough for her to hear. You destroyed yourself, I told her. I just pointed them in the right direction. She started to cry. I stood up and walked out. Never returned. Now I live freely. The company thrives under a different name. My old CO manages a veteran outreach program, fully funded by a trust that Lily unknowingly financed with the money she thought she stole. People call it revenge. I call it peace. Not loud, not flashy, just a quiet man in the back row, a sheet of paper on a judge's desk, and a door that locked behind them all.